It is Black History Month, and you know who is being accused of sending mixed messages on the issue. After a judge just ordered his administration to replace the slavery exhibit he had removed from a historic Philadelphia site. But, well, yeah. But then yesterday, he touted his relationship with the Black community. Take a look.
I want to begin by expressing our sadness at the passing of a person who I knew very well. Jesse was a piece of work, I want to tell you. He was a piece of work, but he was a good man. Not only are we celebrating the century of Black History Month, also, as you know, this year we'll also be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. And the good thing, when they cheated on the election, they made me wait 4 years. I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long.
Oh, God. Her nails?
I get the rants. I do. I understand them wholeheartedly.
And they made fun of Joe Biden. Hello.
But I think, you know, when it comes to the event that happened yesterday, what's so hard for me to witness is people stating that the president is a racist, because I've seen him firsthand. He saved one of my best friend's lives, a Black woman who has been with him for 18 years.
So he has a Black friend. He's a racist.
No, he saved her life.
No.
He did.
Okay.
He's a racist.
Here's the problem, Savannah, and why we have a different take on it. Many of us have a different take on it, because when you target DEI programs with executive office, with executive orders, your first week in office, arguing that the policies undermine national unity. You know, when you shared racist posts about the Obamas, when you pursued the death penalty for the exonerated 5, after you knew they had been exonerated. These are the reasons that his behavior is so hard. And I don't know whether you know about this, but in the 70s, he was accused of discriminating against Black tenants because he wouldn't rent to them.
He didn't want them
Was
to build.
that an accusation?
No, that was a
Justice
proven fact.
Department
They took him to court. The
lawsuit was settled with the Justice Department.
But I guess my point is, when someone goes out of their way to talk poorly about immigrants, not the immigrants, because nobody wants immigrants in the country who are killing people and doing terrible things, but the people who are not, the children who are not, the innocents, there seems to be no ability in his mind to distinguish between Black people and his idea of what DEI is. And when you really look up and see who this was for, who benefited from DEI, it was not Black folks. We got the vote in the 60s. So my question is, well, what was going on before that? Where was all of the things that you say were removed? Did people not have jobs? If you couldn't go to school, didn't you have to find a different way to support your family? That's what people did. That's what we all did. So he has not a great history.
Well, and also you look at someone, not to interrupt, but like Dr. Gates, I got the opportunity, like many of us have, to sit with Dr. Gates, and he created the show Finding Your Roots because Black people and Jewish people could not have traced their histories because everything was destroyed. They had nothing. And he went after it and he worked so hard. So he's not the only one, but he's my favorite one. But when you look at like the Pentagon removed web pages honoring Black military figures, people that would fight for this country come back and couldn't even sit. They did fight, but couldn't even sit in certain places or drink from certain water fountains. They put their lives on the line. That's a very sacred group of people to send to war. And then he temporarily removed the Tuskegee Airmen, the information on that. Those steps make it very hard not to see what he's saying.
Let's call a thing a thing. Donald Trump is a racist. There's no question in my mind that it's time to say the truth. and tell it like it is. And the most recent thing that he did by posting on Truth Social, the Obamas depicted as apes in The Lion King, where there are no apes in The Lion King. That was a racist act. He tried to blame a staffer. A staffer did not do it.
It was a staffer who posted it. It was in fact a staffer who posted it.
Can we please roll the clip?
It was a staffer who
Should be
posted it.
taken as the policy of the Trump administration. It's coming straight from the horse's mouth. When you see it on Truth Social, you know it's directly from President Trump.
President Trump is a racist.
He is not.
Who put that clip of the Obamas
For the first time in history, HBCUs got permanent funding under the Trump administration.
That funding was started before.
Funding was started before.
That funding was started, Savannah, sweetheart, before
But Savannah,
Donald Trump
didn't
got
he
into
repost
office.
that thing about the Obamas?
I agree wholeheartedly that the White House failed when it came to the posting of that video. Because it is the White House's responsibility to protect the minority groups that lost friendships and relationships over just standing for President Trump.
Once again,
so the White House failed on that.
If he didn't post it, the right thing to do, if I
He did post it.
Sonny, give me a minute.
reposted
If I didn't post it, and yet something was so egregious on my account, I would come out publicly and say, oh my God,
He should have
that
come
was
out
awful.
harder.
And he refused to apologize, which almost told me more than that.
Who is this staffer?
He has two people who have all the logins to his social media accounts.
So have either of those staffers been fired for that terrible post that they allegedly put up?
No, they have not.
Yeah. Well, you know, look, here's the thing. This is the good thing about this show. Everybody has an opinion. And we say, I don't agree, I don't think this is cool, and we can have these conversations, and then we go away and talk about our bra size.
Exactly.